New World. It's a game that's been receiving lots of praise and admiration among streamers and reviewers alike. It's funny that, like, New World having an anti-cheat and, like, basic features means it's a good game in this day and age. Gaming is so screwed. Anyway. Jesus, we're going through a heat wave right now. I'm getting murdered over here. Now, New World is very PvP focused. Territorial control, factions taking over cities, putting taxes in, blah, 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 blah. I've only played the game for a little bit, so I can't really dive into how the game really works. But the focus of what we're going to be doing today, which CPU and graphics card is the fastest? Why do we care? Well, because this game does have PvP, and the way the PvP works is Dark Souls-like, where you gotta kind of dip, dodge, and roll, attack during cancellation windows, and all that kind of stuff, right? So even though the combat is janky right now, later on when the game gets fixed, FPS and being able to time your attacks in between windows of like millisecond windows is going to become very important. So what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be testing the 11900K, 10900K, 5950X, the 3090, and the 6900 XT in this game to see what combo is the fastest for this game. Before we move on, I only have footage of one run with the 6900 XT. There is a bug in the AMD driver right now where if you launch the game more than once, you just keep getting crash errors over and over and over. So I literally only have recording of one pass with the 10900K. But don't worry about that, because when I did the 6900 XT runs with the 10900K and the 5950X, it was anywhere from like 20 to 30 FPS less anyway. So if you're playing this game competitively, don't use Big Navi. Big Navi's not optimized for this game anyway, but I'll show you the footage that I got anyway, so you can just verify it for yourself. But now the runs are gonna include 1080p lowest settings and 1440p maximum settings. I just wanted to do two different runs here to see what the differences would be, right? And to see if the graphical settings, if setting those higher would increase the load on the CPU. That's kind of what we were aiming for here. So without further ado, I tried to do the runs as fast as possible back to back to try and keep the congestion of the player population in the town the same amongst all the runs. I did the best I could. I mean, there's gonna be variances no matter what, right? But I pretty much run through the town, record the FPS, and then you guys can see for yourself. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. So Rocket League shits the bed. I mean, we're seeing a common theme here, aren't we? No matter what game it is, the 11900K just loses every time. So that CPU, just forget that CPU. The 10900K and the 5950X seem to almost be dead on tied. Now, we did a stream on this one last week, and we noticed the game only utilizes about 5 cores very heavily. Now, what we thought was that maybe if there's only 5 cores being used, the 11900K might be the best. But, so the 10900K is the winner today, again, but not by enough to make it have a competitive advantage. Not like Warzone where it's a big competitive advantage, right? This is like 5 to 10 FPS, not that big of a deal. But in this game, and like other games, you're gonna notice the same kind of behavior where Zen processors like Zen 3 has lower lows and higher highs. When it hits the cache, FPS skyrockets. When it has to go to memory for the assets, FPS dips. So Zen 3 is like this, 10900K is flat, right? You're just going to constantly see that same behavior over and over in most of the games that I benchmark, but you can consider them a tie for today if you'd like, so whatever CPU you have, you're good to go for this game. When it comes to MMOs, Battle Royales, things with a lot of player counts in one area, the 10900K with those 10 low latency cores is just, you're good for the I've said it before, it's the Sandy Bridge CPU. That one is going to be the one that you're going to be good for the next 10 years. The 10900K, baby. Get an RTX card for this game. Do not get an AMD card for this game. Just not optimized for it. Anyway, guys, if you want to keep up to date on which hardware performs the best in different competitive games as they come out, hit that subscribe button. Over 70% of you that watch my channel are not subscribed. You gotta hit that button down below. It really helps me out to broaden my horizons. Hit that subscribe button, do all that YouTube SEO stuff. Comment down below about the testing. If you have any recommendations or requests for games that you want me to test, down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Talk to you later.